We're so excited to be back for Flosstube number 2. If you saw our first Flosstube, then you will know that my dear son Roman had coerced me into making a Flosstube video. And I honestly was not sure if there would be a second video after we had uploaded it and people started watching it. Roman said, "Wow, I didn't think anyone was going to watch this." I thought, oh my gosh, Roman. But everyone was so kind and so supportive, and there were just so many wonderful comments and feedback and ideas, and we just couldn't believe that there were people watching. And I guess I shouldn't say that. I know how supportive everyone is in the community, and so we're so grateful for the support. And if you did not see the first video, my 15-year-old son Roman is the one that had encouraged me to do this, and he's also the one filming it. So I wanted to mention a little bit. We're trying a new setup today, but he's doing everything manually with a camera, so I actually don't see myself when we're filming. And last time you could probably see me looking away because he was trying to tell me things like speak louder, you know, and so I was looking over at him. This time he's directly in front of me, so it's a little bit easier, but I'm just looking into the camera lens, so I don't really see myself or what I'm pointing to or the time that we're recording. And right now Roman's laughing because I think all the animals are running around, and Roman's making me laugh. And Roman, you're welcome to speak up at any point in this video and make comments. My older son Tristan, the only thing I forgot, and I apologize, is that we do have another pet that we love very much named Princess Buttercup.
Nope.
But Princess Buttercup is a ball python, and I don't think you'll get to see any footage of her in the near future because although I love her and I handle her and play with her and I think she's really sweet, Roman will not go anywhere near her, so I don't think we won't have any videos of Princess Buttercup. But I wanted to start off, there were a few questions. I tried really hard to respond to everyone's super sweet comments, and I know Jordie had left a comment right at the beginning, and Jordie, I'm so sorry, thank you so much. I just could not, I don't know what I was doing wrong, but it would not let me reply. So I hope you're doing really well with your modern folk embroidery, Sal, also. And Jane had asked a question about my DMC organization, which I realized I completely neglected to explain last time. So in the last video, I showed how I store my DMC and that I use primarily DMC. I mentioned that I don't typically use overdives, and it's not because I don't think they're beautiful and amazing. It's, for me, it's just one more decision to have to make with the variegation and how I want to use the variegation. And it's the same thing with my fabric choices. I just try to keep it really simple because I don't want to have decision fatigue over choosing cross stitch supplies. So that's why I just like the consistency of DMC. And then I did try a few new things that I'll show you later. But Jane had asked me, so these are trays that you use for jewelry storage, and they usually come with an insert, but I never showed you how they open. So they have snaps, and then the lid just lifts like this. So it's really easy to access. And then I picked this tray as an example because I did have to use, I think it was $3.55 this week. I didn't want to run to the store for one skein of DMC. So it's like very obvious that I took one from the master set. So that's how these work. And I got mine, these are really old. I got mine from Rio Grande. It's a jewelry supply company, but any jewelry supply company that, if you just search like jewelry tray, they're usually called jewelry trays. They make them with lids and without lids. So that's how that works. And then you can just snap it. We'll start with finishes that were whips last week, and nothing is fully finished. You'll see that it takes me a while to want to fully finish things because I prefer to just keep stitching. The charts, usually by the time I'm done working, are in very poor condition. And I'll explain more about kind of how I store my charts and things like that. But so I can put, or Roman can put images in, but the first one was from Avlea, and it's the Despina's Anemone, and that is on the 26 count ground cloth that you can purchase from Avlea. It comes from Greece. And this one is Roman's favorite because he loves the colors in this one. So this will be finished with a drawn thread hem stitch that will be used for like a table covering. And then the second one that was a whip last video is the Byzantine Rose, also by Avlea. And this one is on 30 counts Mikini cloth, which I still have to figure out how to pronounce. These are the called for DMC, and I did switch out there was an olive green that I switched to 924, which is one of my favorite DMC colors that I tend to use a lot. So that is Avlea Byzantine Rose. And then this one is Kind Words by Not Forgotten Farm. And this is just a matter of me going to pick up some white thread so that I can sew it into a pillow. This will have the antique button on the front, and then I saw Lori Holt's, I think it was her second to last video. Oh, that was Kitty, our Chihuahua. She had such a good idea about putting antique pins. And now I'm laughing because I could hear our cat is opening the kitchen cabinet doors, so Lori had put on the back like antique brooches or pins, and I thought that was such a good idea because I have so many pieces from my mom that those are things that I don't part with. I had talked about in the last video about how we had been really kind of minimizing what we have in preparation to move to a tiny home. But you know, those sentimental pieces from my mom and my grandmother and relatives I have, but I don't have a particular use for them. And when she mentioned that, I thought that was perfect, because that was a great way to honor the piece in something that is useful. So that's something that I need to fully finish also. And then this was a new start and a finish. This is the little hearts pin cushion or scissor fob from Modern Folk Embroidery. And with this one, it is on the 36 count Antique White Zwiegart, which I tend to keep that fabric and then the Avlea ground cloth kind of as like my staple fabrics, because I feel like those are neutral. If I need to dye the 36 count Zwiegart, you know, then I have like all the options with colors. So I wanted to try, it is my birthday month, and so I wanted to treat myself to something, and so I tried the Sajou embroidery floss, and I do really love it a lot. So it comes on 4-strand floss. It's very similar to DMC. If you use 2 strands, the coverage is a little bit less, which I like because even on 36 count, I use two strands typically, but it just has a little bit shinier, softer feel. And I have to say that when Roman saw the box and picked it up and said, "Mom, like, what is this?" And I said, "Oh, well, you know, it's a different type of embroidery floss, you know." And he said, "But you only use DMC," and I felt like such a traitor for trying this. But again, I like the fact that it's not a variegated floss, because for me, I just like the consistency. So this is I think there's 12 in here, and they're all just solid, neutral colors. So I've only tried the red so far, but I'm very, very pleased with these. But I think it was an okay thing to start too. My other justification was it's not that easy to get. So it's not something that I can go crazy buying, like over dyes, where, you know, there's so many people that make it and there's so many, you know, colors and brands. So this was my birthday treat to myself. It's not my birthday yet, but it will be soon. And it was definitely worth trying. So, and I almost forgot, I forgot this last time when I talked about it. The kind words piece I did in Sulky, and I absolutely agree with everyone that Sulky, the Sulky 12 weight, is fantastic on 36, 1 strand. The coverage is beautiful. But what I realized was I am just a 2-strand stitcher. I railroad, so sorry, now the cat's over here. My muscle memory is to want to railroad, and when I worked on this, I kept splitting. I kept wanting to like split the single strand because I'm so used to doing that. So although the Sulky is beautiful, the coverage is great, the quality is fantastic, the Sulky that I purchased, I know I'm not going to end up using. So I had purchased several different blues so that I could, it was with the intention for a specific project, and I used just enough to do this kind words piece, which was not very much, of $12.40 and $11.99. So I have 2 of the larger spools, and then I have 6 of the smaller spools, which I think 2 of them are repeats. Like there's 2 $11.99s and 2 $12.40s. If anybody loves Sulky or has not tried it and would like to have me pass these on to them, I would be happy to do that. I don't feel like I'm going to have a Sulky emergency anytime in the near future, and I tend to try to, if I use something or find that I'm not going to personally use it, I try to pass it on. My feeling on just the things we have in our house in general is that it's like inventory that I have to manage. So I would love to pass these on to someone that would use them. So if you just say Sulky in the comments, I'll have Roman help me with the random YouTube comment picker thing. I would say right now just just within the US, just until I know how to ship things properly. But yes, if you're interested, just say Sulky. I would be happy to pass these on to someone. And I guess that brings up the regularity of the videos. Last time I had no idea that I was going to be making a video.
One eternity later.
And we're back. Kitty has protected us from the mailman, so we're good to go. So what I was saying was, as far as the schedule with the videos, the first one, I didn't know we were doing at all. The second one, I knew we would be doing at some point, but I didn't know that it would be today, which both are good because it doesn't give me, like, I'm not really thinking about it. We're just kind of doing it. So as far as, if you're interested in the Sulky, definitely say Sulky. There will absolutely be another video. If you subscribe and do the little notification thing, then you'll know when we do post a video. Roman will start his racing season in the spring, so I'm assuming he's not going to be wanting to film me while he's like traveling for enduro races. So
Nope.
So, like, you know, I can't imagine us ever having like a regular schedule or day that we'll be able to do videos, but I think that's for the best because, like, there were things that I thought, oh, you know, I'll get this done before the next video, but then today ended up being a good day to do this, and they're not done, and that's okay. That's totally fine. So, so that's what I wanted to say about the Sulky, which I completely forgot last time. So that's everything that I finished since I saw you last. And as far as whips, I am still working on my Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 SAL. And again, like I mentioned, it's wrinkly because I stitch in hand. I was going to even invest in some vest press and try to make this not wrinkly before the video, but I think it's fine. I'm getting there. These are really, it's a fantastic project, and I love stitching it. It definitely takes longer than it looks. I think the first one had about 5,000 stitches. I don't use Pattern Keeper or anything like that, but I know people have mentioned that. So I have a little bit more to do at the bottom on February, but it is only, I have no idea. Do you know what day it is, Roman?
February 20th.
It's February 20th. So I have 8 days to finish it, which can definitely be done. And the only thing that I did not touch was the 2018 Modern Folk Embroidery SAL, which I'm super excited to get back to. I don't know if I'm going to get February and January done by the end of the month, but I might. You never know. So that one is still being worked on. And then, this was kind of sad. I had brought my MLK sampler to work on. Roman had an orthodontist appointment, and we thought he was getting his braces off. So I thought, oh, you know, I could probably like finish this up while he's with the doctor, because you can't go into the office right now. Parents have to sit in the car, and then they just take the kids in. But I only got a few stitches because he didn't actually get his braces off. So I'm so sorry, Roman. It was disappointing, but it's okay. It'll all be worth it in the end. So I did put a few stitches in on that, and I had one new start. My older son Tristan celebrated his 19th birthday on February 13th. And I knew that I wanted to do this for him. So both of the boys will have pieces, I don't know, almost like a hope chest for when they have their own homes. Right now, both of my children want to live in Sprinter vans, which I think is absolutely awesome and very similar to what my husband and I are doing. But I'm making them things that they can have, you know, someday when they have a home, whatever that looks like. So Tristan is Armenian, and so it's always been really important to us that he, you know, knows about his ancestors and his family history. And so Avlea has a pattern called Armenian Ramshorn. So I knew I wanted to start that for Tristan, and I thought that his birthday would be the perfect time to start it. And I only worked on it so far on the 13th, and it is on the 30 counts Mikini cloth, and this is my start. So this will be a gift for him that I'll put away for him. My which I hate. Wow, that's Kitty, the dog. I would like to have it done. April 24th is the Remembrance Day for the Armenian genocide. So I would like to have it done by April 24th because it is such a significant date. If it's not done by then, that's okay, but or at least be working on it on that day. We're very lucky that we're close to Philadelphia, and so there's a lot of Armenian organizations that he was able to learn from. And at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, there's actually a beautiful statue memorial to the Armenian genocide. So if you're not familiar with it, there's definitely lots of information online. It's not something that I ever learned about in school. I think it's a super important part of history to remember. And the art museum is very significant in my life. We were able to go to the Philadelphia Art Museum all the time growing up. My parents are both professional artists, and we spent so much time at that museum. And when we were little, if we were good, well, my parents looked at what they came to see, we would always want to see the arms and armor section. And then as I got older and took art history classes and everything, of course I wanted to see it all. And as you go up the center staircase in the museum, they typically have those beautiful tapestries hanging. And so it's really special that that museum in particular has the memorial piece for the Armenian genocide. And I was actually able to go, they had an Arshile Gorky exhibit that they did a private showing for one of the Armenian groups that's based in Philly. So that was really special too. So museums, libraries, those were the places that I always felt most comfortable growing up. And my husband and I even got married in a museum that is close to us here. So that was my only new start, and that was for Tristan's birthday, and that will be for Tristan. I have one planned for Roman's birthday too, but that is not until September, so that will be a little ways off. And for plans, my birthday is February 26th, and I actually share my birthday with my mom, or my mom shares her birthday with me. So when I was little, I guess, I mean, I don't remember this, but my mom would do little paintings of butterflies when I would take my nap, because she would only have a short amount of time to work. And behind me, over there, is one of the butterfly paintings, and I have another one here. So you can see why she did this, because she could do like one butterfly and then stop, and it was like a tiny finish, right? So she also did beautiful portrait commissions. That was mainly what she did. But so I love this pattern, and I love I try to choose the patterns that I purchase really carefully, like with the intention of starting them and finishing them sometime in the near future. It's kind of like the Sulky thread. I don't think there's going to be any actual emergency. I mean, there may be a chart that I want that goes out of print, and worst case scenario, there's many other things to choose from. But I found the Barrick painted wings pattern, and I just thought that, I loved it. It was, it's definitely something that I would put in my home, and it reminded me of the paintings that my mom would do when I was, taking my nap as a little girl. And since we share the same birthday, I thought that would be perfect to start on our birthday. And then I think with the initials, my name's Jenny and her name is Jane, so I'll probably do a J on either side, and then maybe our birthday, or possibly the year that I was born, since that was such a special day. She always jokes I put her in the hospital on her 29th birthday. So I'm the oldest, and I have 3 younger brothers, which I'm sure I will tell you all about at some point because I adore all of them. And then the other charts that I purchased were the Modern Folk Embroidery. I meant to ask my brother how to pronounce this. My brother's birthday is on March 17th, on St. Patrick's Day. And he taught Italian. He teaches Spanish currently, but he also speaks Italian fluently. And I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, but basically, the sentiment is similar to Home Sweet Home, but it's basically like, to each its nest is beautiful, which I really enjoyed that sentiment because, we all have a different opinion about what makes our home beautiful or comfortable, or, so I liked that it was in Italian. I think the motif is beautiful. It's a pink cushion, it's not a huge piece, but I had admired the chart for a long time, and then I thought that would be a great start in honor of my brother's birthday. So that's my brother Michael, the one we're all about 3 years apart. So it's myself, my brother Michael, my brother Reed, and then my brother Brent. So that is that one. And then Ellen Reed had posted on Instagram about a stitch-along, stitching something with Asian motifs for the month of March. And then that enabled me to pick up 2 other charts that I had been looking at and considering. But again, for me, if I don't feel like I'm going to start it in the near future and finish it, I don't tend to purchase the chart until I'm ready to do it. So there is 2 that are really pretty. One is the Japanese sampler, which has the alphabet, and it's really beautiful. And Jacob has, such beautiful write-ups about all of the charts on his website that come, with the pattern. And then the other one is the 4 Seasons Japanese pincushions. And I always love things that are 4 seasons. The 2018 SAL that I'm working on is also a 4 seasons chart. And that also makes me think of something regarding my mom. She would always say, that's saying that there's a season for everything. And I know when my children were little, I would get frustrated sometimes, because there's things that we want to do that we just don't have and have time to do. And my mom would say, just, relax. There's a season for everything. Like, this is not the time right now, maybe for you to be, working on artwork when your kids are toddlers. And, she's 100% correct, because now my boys are basically completely independent, and I find myself with all this free time. And, I miss them needing me, but I'm happy that they're so independent and have all these wonderful activities and things to do. So anything that has to do with seasons, I think, always reminds me of that, and is something that I'm happy to have in my home. So those are the only things that I purchased. It's, I want to say it's been about, I think we recorded the first video on the 2nd. So those are all things that I plan to start in the near future. And regarding charts, I wanted to show you my chart organization, which is a thumb drive. I really tend to purchase PDF charts. And it's not because I don't want to support local needle workshops. Since COVID, I mean, there's a few that are not terribly far away from me. They're not close, but I mean, you could definitely drive there without it being a hardship. With being home, of course, PDFs became a real blessing for everyone to be able to have access to charts. But I also find that I can store everything on a thumb drive, and I print it when I'm ready to use it, and I don't have to store large quantities of paper charts. And then I tend to print out the cover, the picture, on cardstock, and then the actual charts on just really thin, inexpensive printer paper. Because by the time I'm done with it, it's completely marked up and wrinkly, and I'm not very precious, with the charts. And then when I'm done, I just destroy them, recycle them, and then I just have it on here. I also have it on my computer, but I've learned several times that if you don't back things up on your computer, you run the risk of losing them forever. So it's on my laptop and on my thumb drive. But I don't really have many paper charts. And when I'm done with them, they're pretty sad looking. Like the Avlea charts are great. The Byzantine Rose and the Despina's Anemone that I showed you first, because that was part of a small bit kit that she sells on her website. But you can take that pattern and just repeat it, and you can make it long enough for a table covering. You can do all kinds of things with it. So I don't want to not have the charts. I just don't want to store them, forever and carry them around. So that's my method of chart storage, since I showed you my DMC storage before. And I think the last thing that I just wanted to mention that I found is, so I think, like a lot of people have said, we live in Pennsylvania. It just keeps snowing. It's really cold. We have really dry heat. So I'm always looking for something for my hands. So something I found that I love, I kept looking at hand creams, and usually the first ingredient is like water or something like that, and that doesn't seem helpful. So this is a farm that's close to us. It's called Hope Hill Lavender Farm, and I found this. It's a stick. Now, please do not, for my pieces, I've not found any issue, but I don't want you to ruin anything that's like an heirloom piece. But the reason I picked it up was because the first ingredient is beeswax, and it's a solid form. And so I thought, well, if we use, people use beeswax to condition their threads. So I thought, well, that should probably be okay if it does transfer to fabric, hopefully. There is shea butter, almond oil, and then lavender in it. Those are the only ingredients, but it's been really, really good. Like, instead of my hands cracking and bleeding, this has helped tremendously. So I checked their website, and they do have it online, so we can link that. But the other thing I found, so I stitch in hand, and I'm left-handed, so I use my left hand to stitch, and then I use my right thumb to kind of like guide the stitches, but they get so dry that they're like sticking. Excuse me, like the dry heat that I'm talking about. And this has completely fixed that. So that was like the one awesome thing that I found since the last time that we spoke. So I think that is everything. And again, I cannot thank everyone enough for the comments, and it's been so much fun to like see where everybody's from and Roman loves reading the comments with me, so thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I had kind of talked about our family last video, but like any questions about us, feel free to ask. It's been so nice to meet everybody, and it's like everyone says, it's the nicest community, and it's so much fun to be a part of it. And we will see everyone soon. Thank you.